One day I decided to do a rehearsal and a concert with period instruments because I knew there were enough players in the New York City area that I could hire them and take a chance on it. And I had a curiosity about it. So I studied my scores and I marked my scores and I anticipated that the flute would be a little too loud in this bar and so forth. And I went into the rehearsal and I was excited about it and I stood up on the podium and I gave the downbeat and literally within the first bar I stopped the rehearsal and stepped off the podium. I've never done that again since. I was so shocked by the sound of these original instruments that it basically canceled all the work I had done. I was not going to have a problem with the balances of the horns. I was not going to have a problem with whether the cellos could keep up with the violas. The whole thing just had an organic, natural blend. Now it's riskier. If the weather is not so good, if it's a more humid day, if it's a really dry day, this affects the instruments. And these are natural materials. The strings are made of gut, the timpani heads are made of leather, the flutes are made of wood. All of these things, came out of the earth. And human beings were playing them. And not to mention a very important factor, which is that in the rise of instrumental music and the rise of the instruments during the 17th century, uh, it was to imitate the human voice. I mean, the goal of an instrument was, at its best, to be able to rise to the level of the human voice. And that was always my approach to this music. I noticed that these instruments, when you would use them with voices, I didn't have the problems as a conductor. I didn't have the chorus masked by the orchestra because the orchestra was too loud. It just works. It just works. So with that initiative, we started the American Classical Orchestra, and it has been a glorious journey ever since. And as the conductor, I can say with complete sincerity and experience that what has happened here is the orchestra has gotten better and better. The players have become richer and richer in their investment in their instruments and in their understanding of this music, and being able to play it together on these original instruments. And it has been just extraordinary to watch how the thing, as they've struggled to become masters of these instruments, they have succeeded every year a little more.